Man, let's talk
Yeah,
about the 8 albums and reflection, because I feel like the longer you're an artist, the longer you're in the studio, the longer you write songs, the bigger your catalog gets, and then you can kind of take away from that catalog over time, uh, kind of like the evolution process, so to speak. Do you ever,
yeah.
when looking back at your entire catalog, can you kind of see how you've matured as an artist and a writer over time? And if so, what are some things that stand out to you?
I think so. I mean, I think I've become. Uh, I had my moments as a writer. I think I had a pretty good run going there for a few years. I wrote a lot of slow, sad songs, and I know that's what a lot of people don't want to hear, but I
Yeah,
like them personally. And
same.
I had a
Yeah, same.
I had a good chance to write a lot of those because I lived a lot of those, and I had a lot of crazy relationships, and just finally here in the last couple of years. I mean, I ain't saying that. I mean, I had some great women married to, and she's awesome, but I have had some fun and crazy times and all that, and I think that I think more about writing. I think deeper maybe than I used to a little bit. But I also had some good people that wrote with me in Nashville, and they helped me. Some of those songs are really, was maybe mostly their baby. Some of them were, some of them were mine. But as far as a singer, I think maybe I'm learning. Even this last record, I feel like I've learned something on this new record, and we cut 17 songs, and that's a
Woo!
lot. Yeah,
Yes.
and
Wow.
yeah, we did, and some of them. I got a Dean Dillon song on there. I have a Monty Criswell song on there.
Wow.
I have Phil Billy, Phil O'Donnell. I have George Strait, Bubba Strait wrote one of them with Monty Criswell, and I wrote probably 6 or 7 of the songs that's on there. But I got a lot of good outside songs. Jason Deere, one of my good friends, he sent me a great song. I got some good material, but really one of the most exciting things about this new record, and I'll go ahead and let it out of the bag because I haven't said this because I haven't done any interviews about it, about what really hardly any. But we're just about to hit it hard. You're probably our first one, but
Nice.
which is great, which is great. But I had a friend in Oklahoma. He passed away in 2023. His name was Bill Caswell, and he was a songwriter in Nashville. And he had some cuts. He had some Johnny Lee cuts and people like that from Nashville. And he was from Bartlesville, Oklahoma. And he and I and his wife was Rosie. We were good buddies. We played a couple, 2 or 3 little shows, or I played 2 or 3 shows, and they played at like a KOA campground in Nashville every Wednesday or Thursday or something for the campers. They were real talented, but he also had a good friend named Keith Whitley. Bill did. So Keith and him wrote quite a few songs together, and I think maybe up around 8 or 10 songs together.
Wow.
And Keith cut Lucky Dog, which is one I don't know if you heard of, but Bill co-wrote that one. He also had a couple more that Keith ended up, maybe the label ended up putting them on an album after Keith passed away. But there was one song on there called Between You and Me. It's him, and it was a waltz. And I love the song. And Bill said, you know, yeah, you should cut it. If you want to cut it. Nobody's ever even heard it. I'm not even sure. It was never done. The only
Wow.
thing, only thing I have a Keith Whitley singing it with acoustic guitar. I got a cassette of that.
Wow.
That's all I've got. And I've got 8 or 10 songs of Keith singing, just him and the guitar on this cassette. And that song, I bet Lori Morgan don't even know about this song because I'm thinking about my own writing. I've written with a lot of songs. I've got one of those huge giant tubs. They're yellow and black from Lowe's. The ones I'm talking about
Yep.
that are you. Well, I got that. I got one of them completely full of cassettes. I'm talking about not stacked neatly, but just piled in there. There's hundreds in there, right?
Wow.
So I got songs I forgot I even wrote. I started looking for songs on this album, and I started going through them, and 2 or 3 on this record I forgot I wrote, and it's me singing it, trying to write. I'm maybe with the guy, maybe by myself. Now 2 or 3 of these those are even on this new record. And I didn't even have any recollection of it. That's how many songs I was writing back in the day. But
Wow.
anyway, this Keith Whitley song, I'm very proud of it. Man, nobody's called me in like a year. I'm not lying. Anyway,
You
so
set this up. We know what's going on.
not whatsoever. I'm gonna throw my phone out in the hall. But anyway, yeah, Keith, we cut this, and it's a beautiful song, and it's just an old kind of cheating country song. He's not cheating, but it's really not a cheating song exactly. But it's the whole hook is between you and me. It's him, and it's about somebody that she likes maybe more than she likes Keith, the
Yeah,
guy singing it.
yeah.
So that's what it's kind of about. But you can tell when I'm singing it that it's Keith Whitley influenced vocally too, because it's got a lot of the way he sang his notes and stuff, and it's. I'm anxious to see what it does because
So,
it's
so I just want to make sure I have this right. You have so on this new record, you have Jamie Richards songs on there.
yep,
You have a Dean Dillon song. You have a George Strait song, actual George Strait song written by George Strait. You have a Keith Whitley
but
song on there. Like,
yep,
are we going like
yep.
all star team here? Like, is that what's going on here? Man, how are you
I got a bunch.
choosing these? Like, you got 17 songs. How do you choose what makes the cut and what doesn't when you're choosing so many?
Well, I had Trent Wellman sent me some songs too, and a couple of those are people that he sent
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
to listen to. But I think that I had kind of a team. I've got a woman named Jen. She's a publicist that you've been talking to her.
Yep.
She lives in California. And then I also have a girl in New York that's kind of a branding person that's helped she's also an artist. Her name's Brielle. And then friend of mine or two, and we just kind of, and then I got a producer named Josh Rogers. Josh Rogers is a, Josh?
I'm not. The name is vaguely familiar.
He is he's probably the top session drummer around Dallas Fort Worth. He's
Okay.
playing on everybody's records. But I worked with him on a couple of things. I was just helping produce a guy, and I just watched this Josh Rogers working, and I was like, oh my God, this guy, because I was in the studio with Mark Wright, who produced Mark Chestnut, Gary
Mm-hmm.
Allen. He took me in and cut sides with me. I was in there with Don Cook, who produced Brooks and Dunn, a bunch of others. I was in there with, let's see. Anyway, a couple more big producers. But I never had a producer like Josh Rogers. I never seen those guys dig in like he does. He's pretty amazing. He's a big music guy. He's graduated. He knows piano. I mean, he can walk up to the guitar player or anybody else and say, "Can you do this?" He's a drummer, so he's
Yeah.
he's a guy that you don't see that really.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that was what was pretty impressive about him. So I asked him. I said, "Would you like to produce a new record on me?" Of course, he wants to get into producing, so he was happy to do it. So we went down to Blue Rock Studios in Wimberley and tracked for 4 days and cut, and that was the end of May of this year, and cut 17 songs. And then about 5 days later, I was at the Panhandle House in Denton singing them, and I sang them in about 3 days. And we've been doing editing, and he's been busy. We've been back and forth, and we're finally going to have it ready to mix here in about 2 or 3 weeks.
So when's the ETA? Do you think?
Well, let's see. It's probably going to be toward the end of September before we have something out.
Okay.
I'm
And
guessing.
do you have a title for the record yet?
I don't. Well, I've been asked that. We could probably find something pretty good, surely out of the 17 songs, and I don't know what we're going to do exactly with it. It used to be a format where you put out a CD, you put out a vinyl album, and
Mm-hmm.
you had so many songs lined up. But now it seems
And hit
like
the road, right?
hit the road, yeah. And
Yep.
people would either buy, throw stuff at you, one of the two. So
Yep.
we ended up having. I think what we're going to do is kind of what people are doing, like yourself. We're going to start
Waterfalling.
releasing. Yeah,
Yep.
we're going to release a song. A couple months later, another. A couple months later, another.
Yep.
And we're going to, and we got 17 of them, so they're going
How
to
do you
stick
feel
with me.
about that? That's called waterfalling. That's kind of the new way of releasing music. How do you feel about that? That's massively different than how you came up.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I'm having to learn about it but it obviously works real well.
Yeah.
I've I'm kind of old school. I wish we still did 10 or 12 song albums, and that was the way. Lost you for a second. I got you now.
Yep.
Can you hear
We're
me?
we're back. Yep.
Okay. So I think it's going to be. I think that especially the woman in LA that's helping me, she's she's going to be good at helping me figure out what we need to do and how to do it. And she knows a lot of people around everywhere. I think the secret is getting on some really great playlists, getting here and getting there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all about who you know and all this stuff. A lot of it. I mean, if the talent's there and it sounds good, if it sounds great, I know one thing. I am really proud of this record, and I've had 9 other records, counting my 9-year-old record. I'm going to count that too, like you do. I never did that before, but
Well, hell, if you count it, this one gets you to 10, Jamie. Come on now.
I know it's all. That's I know. I don't know. I should ought to bring you in on the team. I mean, come on. But but this is going to be. I think this is my best record to date, and I think it's going to be my deepest, and also I think I've matured vocally in a way that it's even more emotion and feeling than I've ever had when I'm singing.
Wow.
I think that's a fact.
17 songs,
Like,
man. That's very, very,
Yeah.
very, very interesting. I love it because that means more music from you. I'm a huge fan. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. And so you guys can maybe shoot out some messages to Jamie on his social media if he's looking for a title for the record. So come up with something crazy.
Hey.
Maybe he'll use it. You just never know.
Yeah, that's a good idea. We're always looking for some help. You never know where it's
Yeah.
going to come from.
Could be fun.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. But I think that I'm going to dive in the middle of the social media myself and start playing some of these songs, just acoustic, just me and a guitar, and putting out some little 30 or 45-second clips of
It's
it.
brilliant. Yeah, that's very smart.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
just,
see if-
sitting around the house, you're bored. Just put out a 45-second clip, and I mean,
Yeah.
you'd be surprised what happens just from that little bit of effort. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. I've seen it. I mean, I could probably triple my social media presence in 3 months if I
Yeah.
would do it.
No doubt
Just
about
matter
it.
of-
Yeah,
no matter of doing
I
it.
believe it.